Hey, it's Mark from the band Thickwit, and I am walking you through recording a track that I'm about to put down here. It's called Occam's Razor. It's going to be on my next album. And I just want to walk you through how that's going to look and how that sounds and what the process behind actually coming up with one of these songs is. So I have the lyrics, I have the rough lyrics. Um, Occam was a man who had many layers. He owned a shop in town that he called Occam's Razors, but he wasn't satisfied just selling blades to shavers. He loved to sneak out at night and carve up his neighbors. Really fun song. And in between each of those lines, I have kind of a feel for what I want the song to sound like. I want it to be a Occam was a man who had many layers. He owned a shop in town that he called Occam's Razors. Okay, so I've got a drum track laid down here just to play against. It's a nice 97 beats per minute. Nice little drum track we can play against. So from here, I don't really know what I want to play, but I'm just gonna kind of feel it out and see what works over top of it. So I'm gonna start by looping this drum track and just playing over top of it. So the next piece on this is getting the rhythm guitar part down, just starting with some chords. But as I'm playing these chords, just trying to figure this out, let's take a look. So what I'm looking for is something I can sing over, and then a little riff after that, right? So Occam was a man who had many layers. He owned a shop in town that he called Occam's Razors. He wasn't satisfied selling blades to shavers. So that's kind of like what I'm looking for there. Did I find a couple of good things in there? I sure did, so let's take a look at them. Just hit stop there. Okay, let's see if we can actually use this. Occam was a man who had many layers. He owned a shop in town that he called Occam's Razors. But he wasn't satisfied selling blades to shavers. He loved to sneak out at night and carve up his neighbors. Look at that. That sounds great. So I'll just fill it in with some Alright, let's see what that sounds like. Alright, it's not perfect, but it's the idea. We're looking for the idea here. We can make it perfect later. But this is the idea that I'm going for here. Alright, so I've switched to headphones so I don't get feedback as I'm recording, and I'm going to lay down some vocal tracks. Occam was a man who had many layers. He owned a shop in town that he called Occam's Razors. But he wasn't satisfied with selling blades to shavers. He loved to sneak out at night and carve up his neighbors. Alright. Vocals are a little quiet. So far, good. Occam was a man who had many layers. He owned a shop in town that he called Occam's Razors. But he wasn't satisfied with selling blades to shavers. He loved to sneak out at night and carve up his neighbors. And that is the first verse to Occam's Razors, made right there on the fly, just like that.